Good day to all the newly hired nurses who are present today. By the way, my name is Izel Arada, your assigned nurse. Thank you for all coming in our online presentation. So I'm here to discuss IV therapy overview and skill check. Is there anybody here who haven't tried initiating an IV therapy or creating a line in a patient? Just comment or raise your hand. Okay, that's good. Hope that everyone did experiencing initiating an IV therapy or initiating a line. I know most of you are newly graduates, so while you were a student, it's lucky to have experience inserting a line. Because IV therapy is an everyday skill used by nurses all over the world in a hospital setting. So here's our learning objectives. At the end of this discussion, the participants will be able to describe what is IV therapy, identify common reasons for IV therapy, distinguish the difference between primary and secondary IV fluid infusion, identify complications of IV therapy, locate intravenous access sites, differentiate solutions, cannula sizes and tubings, demonstrate how to insert a peripheral line. So what is IV therapy? So IV stands for intravenous or inside the vein. It means that the patient receives substances directly into the veins through a tube called a cannula. So it is a treatment that infuses intravenous solutions, medications, blood or blood products directly into a vein. It is fast-acting way to administer fluid or medication treatment in an emergency situations and for patients who are unable to take medications orally. So approximately 80% of all patients in the hospital setting will receive intravenous therapy. So what are the most common reasons for IV therapy? So we have first, the reason for IV therapy is to replace fluids and electrolytes and maintain fluid and electrolyte balance. Because of the body fluids balance is regulated through hormones and is affected by fluid volumes. So distributions of fluids in the body and the concentration of solutions in the fluid. If a patient is ill and has lost fluid related to decreased intake, surgery, vomiting, diarrhea, or diaphoresis, the patient may require IV therapy. The next is to administer medications, including chemotherapy, anesthetics, and diagnostic reagents. So about 40% of all antibiotics are given intravenously. Next is to administer blood or blood products. So once you have undergo a hypovolemic shock, the donated blood from another individual can be used in surgery. It is to treat medical conditions such as shock, as said earlier, or trauma, or to treat failure in the production of red blood cells. The infusion restores circulating volumes, improving the ability to carry oxygen and increase blood components that are deficient in the body. And lastly, to deliver nutrients and nutritional supplements. So IV therapy can deliver some or all of the nutritional requirements for patients unable to obtain adequate amounts orally or by other routes. Next, we will now know what is primary IV fluid solution. So there are three types of fluid concentrations. Number one is isotonic fluids. Isotonic fluids are typically administered for fluid and electrolyte replacements. So isotonic fluids have similar concentration to the solutes contained in blood. So they do not cause the osmotic movement of fluid into or out of the patient's individual cells. So maintain lang po yung balance ng fluid sa atin sa loob ng cell. So example of isotonic fluid are NSS, PNLR, and D5 water. While hypertonic fluids have a higher concentration of solutes than blood, they are typically used in critical care situations to treat hyponatremia and avoid pulmonary edema by relying on osmosis to help remove excess fluid. So examples of hypertonic fluids are D5-NSS, D10 water, D5.45 NSS. While hypotonic fluids have a lower concentrations of solutes than blood. So the goal of the hypotonic fluid administration is to move fluids into a patient's cells due to osmosis. So hypotonic solutions are commonly used when a patient has severe intracellular dehydration, such as during DKA. So example of hypotonic fluids are 0.45 NSS. So what are secondary IV fluid infusions? So secondary IV fluid infusions are usually an intermittent infusion that infuses at regular intervals. Example, like every 8 hours, every 12 hours, every 6 hours. This form of IV therapy is usually contains medications that are supplied in a smaller infusion bag and mixed with a diluent fluid intake like saline. Example are IV antibiotics. So secondary IV therapy is often referred to as IV piggyback. So medication, because it is attached to a primary bag of intravenous fluid. If in this case, the primary line maintains venous access between drug doses. So common preparations comes in 25 to 100 ml of packs. Next is types of venous access. There are two types of venous access. One is the peripheral IV um, intravenous. This is a short intravenous catheter inserted by percutaneous venipuncture into a peripheral vein. So sometimes it is held in a place with a sterile transparent dressing. So yung mga tegaderm, so kung okay yung hospital, pero pag walang budget, so mga micropore lang to keep the site sterile and prevent accidental dislodgement. So PIVs are used for infusion under 6 days and for solutions that are isoosmotic or isoosmotic. So hindi siya masyadong irritative. So they are easy to monitor and can be inserted at the bedside. So CDC in 2011 recommends that PIVs should be replaced every 76 to 96 hours to prevent infection and phlebitis in adults. So PIVs are prone to phlebitis, so later malalaman natin yung phlebitis and infection and should be removed as follows. So every 72 to 96 hours or as necessary, as soon as the patient is stable or no longer requires IV fluid therapy, as soon as the patient is stable following insertion of an IV cannula in an area of flexion. So yung mga part dito ng mga natutupi. Immediately, if tenderness, swelling, redness, or purulent discharge occurred at the insertion site, so immediately nire-remove yan, pinapalitan mo. And when the administration set is changed, so IV tubing, so kailangan pinapalitan mo. So these are the peripheral IV. So what are the central venous catheter? Central venous catheter, also known as a central line or central venous access device, is an intravenous catheter that is inserted into a large vein in the central circulation system. So where the tip of the catheter terminates the superior vena cava that leads to an area just above the right atrium. So dito yun ini-insert. So there are examples. So bakit nga ginagamit yun? CVCs are typically inserted requiring more than 6 days of intravenous therapy or who, number one, require anti-neoplastic medications. So mga chemo drugs then are seriously or chronically used, yung matatagal talaga yung hospitalization, na uubos na yung ugat sa peripheral. Require vesicant or irritant medications like yung mga inotropes, require toxic medications or multiple medications. Sobrang dami ng drip. Christmas tree na yung drips niya. Require long-term venous access or dialysis. So, yung nag-i-initiate tayo ng dialysis, pwede yan. Require TPN, and then require, so TPN, is total parenteral nutrition, then require medications with a pH greater than 9 or less than 5, or osmolality of greater than 600 moles per liter. So, have poor vasculature or have had multiple IV insertion attempts. So, yun nga, last, kung pag wala ka na mahanap talaga, na sobrang tagal na, nabugbog na, or manas na yung pasyente, hindi hirap ka na mag-insert. So, recommended na talaga yung central venous catheter. So, what are the examples? We have the percutaneous central venous catheter. We have the PICC line or yung mga cut down, and then the implanted venous catheter, which is the portacat. Dito po yun nilalagay yung mga portacat. Usually yun sa mga cancer patient natin na pabalik-balik sa ospital. So meron na silang port agad dito. So next is, what are the complications of IV therapy? Number one, we have phlebitis. So phlebitis, this is the inflammation of the vein. It can cause redness, so mapula, matigas na, tenderness along the vein, and can lead to infection if not properly treated appropriately. Sorry. The next is infiltration. So infiltration, of course, when a non-vesicant solution, kita nyo maga na, is inadvertently administered into a surrounding tissue, resulting in the leakage of the IV into the surrounding tissue. Inflammation may cause pain, swelling, and skin that is cool to touch. So pag malamig na yung other parts ng kamay niya, so pwede na nag-infiltrate, naging ano na, the Hulk na yung ibang sinasabi ng mga nurses, naging the Hulk na yung isang kamay ng pasyente. So dapat lagi dito, ini-stop and then mag-reinsert ka na lang to other lines, area, lalo na sa na malayo po sa pinanggalingan. Then next is extravasation. So extravasation, same with the infiltration, it infiltrate and damages intravenous medications such as yung mga irritants, so chemotherapy, inotropes, into the extravascular tissue around the site of infusion. It can cause tissue death. Ayun yung pangit sa extravasation pag na pabayaan. So, symptoms include like burning sensation, sobrang init na yung kamay ng pasyente, parang nasusulong, and then swelling around the IV site. Then other complications of IV therapy, one is air embolism. So air embolism, this happens when an air bubble enters the vein. It could be fatal, and if not caught early, since the air can travel to the person's brain, heart, or lungs, the complication can be avoided by ensuring that the patient is properly hydrated, resting in a supine position when injecting and removing the IV line. So what are the symptoms of air embolism? We have blue hue of the patient's skin, difficulty of breathing, or low blood pressure. Next is hypervolemia. So hypervolemia is this an abnormal increase in blood volume. It is more likely to happen in pregnant women, young children, elderly patients, or people with kidney problems. Yun na yun na kunyari, napaka-fast trip mo na, kasi napabayaan, or mali regulation. So it can cause tachycardia and distended neck pain. So because of hypervolemia. Then lastly, the infection. If the IV line port or skin of the site of injection are not properly cleansed prior to inserting the IV, the likelihood of infection increases. Kasi hindi mo siya na-disinfect, syempre madumi yung kamay ni patient, so magkakaroon tayo ng infection. So we can, signs and symptoms should, that presents will be pain, swelling, and fever. Next are tubing. So what are macro drip tubing? So generally delivers 10 to 20 drops and is used to infuse large volumes or to infuse fluids quickly. So ito, pag nakita nyo sa picture, it delivers sobrang malalaking drops ng fluid. So ito ginagamit usually sa mga fast drips, sa mga matataas na volume rates. And the next is the micro drips are delivered 60 drops per ml and it's used for small or very precise amounts of fluids. Kasi we have, mamaya papatak sa inyo, mayroon needle type yan. So usually ginagamit yan sa mga pedya or sa mga mas mababang mga fluids, fluid rates po. Then infusion set with brace used for fixed volume of IV fluid at usually with added medication. So ito yung mga tinatawag nating Solusets. So dyan nilalagay yung mga IV or mga drips ng kunyari mga insulin drips. So dyan mga nilalagay po yun. So here are the examples of the pictures. So when you see the Macroset, malaki po yan, ang drops po niyan. So pinagkaiba niya, makikita mo agad, ang Microset, may needle po sa gitna. Mas accurate po ang pagbilang niya. The next is infusion set with beret. So ito po yung mga kinds of Soluset. So different po yan. So may mga levels po yung Soluset natin. The next, these are the IV fluids, the common IV fluids. So dati color-coded yan, pero ngayon yung ibang mga nire-release na bago ngayon, minsan pare-pares na yung color. So make sure na makikita lagi yung label. So green will be our plain NSS. The red is the D5 water. Blue is the plain LR. Pink is the D5 LR. Yellow is the D5 NSS. And orange is the D5 NM. While these are other nice to know lang po, na makikita nyo rin naman kamot. Like mannitol, ginagamitan po yan ng infusion set with beret. And then next is the amino acid. So proteins din po to na minsan nilalagay po sa fluids ng mga pasyente. And maliit lang po na bote ng D5 water. Next is our IV cannula sizes. So here are the IV cannula sizes. So ang sabi nga nila, huwag niyo ipoprovoke ang nurse because sila ang tumutusok sa'yo. They can choose whatever cannula size they will use into use. Gauge 16 is our biggest, no? So it is rarely na ginagamit sa atin. Unless magtutusok for the pulmonary pleural effusion, yan usually ginagamit yan, nag-start yan. Chest tube yan. Sorry, chest tube, yun yan, sa pulmonary pleural effusion. The next is our gauge 18. So, ito usually ginagamit din sa mga buntis, sa mga talagang makita mo ang laki ng 9. So, kailangan ng hydration, fast trip, mga walang BP. Kasi minsan hirap kasing insertan yung mga walang BP kasi dehydrated yung mga buntis. Next, gauge 20. Gauge 20 is the most commonly used lalo sa mga adults. So, gauge 20, gauge 22, sa mga ating mga elderly na maninipis na ang mga ugat. Gauge 24, ito, and 26 are for the pedias. Pero usually, ginagamit ito sa adult, lalo na kapag maliit ang mga maninipis ang ugat. The next is our triport or HEPLAC. So, ito yung mga other devices na ginagamit sa ating IV therapy. So, pwede mo siyang gamitin ang HEPLAC kapag mga congestive heart failure, you need lang na access para sa mga medications nila. So, hindi kailangan ng mga IV fluids na naka-macroset or naka-microset. Then, triport, for multiple lang po yan, access to the IV. Kasi minsan, ang daming drip. So, lalagyan po ng ganyan. So next, any questions po regarding our lecture before we proceed to intravenous therapy administration po? So, ito na yung ating skill check. Any questions po? Yan. So, I hope that everything is clear. So, kung may mga tanong po kayo, don't forget lang po na chat lang po sa ating GC or comment lang down below. So, intravenous therapy administration. So, first, of course, IV fluids are medication. So, verify physician's order and check that the patient does not have any allergies to this medication. So, the order must include the type of solution or medication, rate of the infusion, duration, date, and time. So, usually, nakalagay start cleanliness as to run for 8 hours. So, yun yung mga usually. So, don't forget to perform the 6 rites of medication 3 times. So check the type of the fluid, the expiration date, verify mo yung fluid is free of discoloration and sediment, then check my expiration date when obtaining a new tubing administration site. Then examine mo yung bag to ensure that the bag itself is intact and is not leaking. Kasi minsan may mga moisture na inside the plastic IV storage container. Pero yun ay isang normal lang po. So, after verifying, so perform po nung hand hygiene tayo. Then, gather needed materials. So, ano po ba yung mga kailangan nating materials? First, we have your IV fluid, IV tubing, IV cannula, tourniquet, alcoholized cotton balls, tape, scissors, and gloves. Next is put on gloves and explain the procedure. So, pagpasok mo sa pasyente, syempre hindi mo pwedeng tutusukan lang agad yan. So, you just need to say na, good morning, ma'am. What is your name? Okay, my name is Isalarda. I'm your nurse for today. And the doctor's order to start an IV. Is it okay po to start an IV? Because intravenous therapy is a invasive procedure po. So, kailangan po natin kumuha ng consent. So, if consented na po, magpapapirma po tayo ng consent and then explain para saan ba yung IV therapy, kung bakit siya indicated for that person. The next, if okay na sana, apply tourniquet to the upper arm. After applying tourniquet to the upper arm, you need to assess veins to locate an insertion site. So, ano ba yung mga makikita na agad na line, na IV line or mga mas okay na. So, ayan yung mga IV lines na commonly na pwede nating makuha, insertan. So, these are the digital dorsal veins, the metacarpal veins, ito yun, metacarpal veins. These are the digital dorsal veins, the basilic veins, and the cephalic veins. Dito. Sabi, masakit dyan sa cephalic, so mas less ang pain dito sa basilic. So next, dito sa ating forearm, we have the cephalic. Basta dito sa C, always remember the C stands for cephalic. So dito po yan, cephalic. Then, this side will be the basilic veins. So with the basilic, median, cubital, accessory vein, and dito po yung, saan po dito? Brachial. So bakit umpisa muna tayo sa metacarpal? So because if hindi unsuccessful yan, so aangat tayo. Kung nag-start ka sa pinakataas, maubos na po tayo agad na lang. Masisira na po agad yung ating lang. So ano po ba yung avoid mga locations na dapat natin hindi na-avoid? So anterior ulnar veins, kasi masyadong maraming nerves po doon. Nerves na may mga bumps kasi yun, andun yung mga valves po. Then mastectomy kasi wala na po yung ating mga lymph nodes, varicose veins, and scarred tissue. So, ayun yung mga iniiwasan po nating locations ng IV therapy. So, once site is identified, release po natin yung tourniquet, then clean the insertion site with alcohol for at least 30 seconds, then allow to dry, then reapply the tourniquet. So, pag okay na, nakita mo na yung vein, apply mo na yung tourniquet. So, pag apply ng tourniquet should be flat, and then only one loop. Kasi para mas mabilis mo yung makuha. So later, meron po tayong video on how to insert an IV therapy. The next, at the insertion site, use your non-dominant hand to stretch the skin and stabilize the vein. Place the IV catheter on top of the vein at a 10 to 15 degree angle. Then puncture the skin and the vein wall and watch for the blood flashback in the catheter. So once inserted na nga po yan, so, yan yung left thumb. Kung right ang dominant hand mo, place mo yung under the side providing medium anchor. Then, thumb, third finger, pinching. And then, naka 10 to 15 degree angle. Ayan po yung pag-insert. The next, use your non-dominant index fingers to separate the catheter from the needle and advance po natin yan. Then hold pressure above the insertion site with your other non-dominant hand and hold the Havelto catheter. Release the tourniquet, then retract the needle po. After po is the tape up the IV catheter. So attach any chosen adaptations as one-way valve. Yun yung mga tinignan ko nga po sa inyo na headlock or tripod or IV tubing, then regulate and check for pan. So yes, so okay na. Mission accomplished. So here are one of the vision on how to insert an IV. So first, you need to verify the patient's name, verify the orders, after it, hand hygiene, gather the materials, and put on gloves. So the nurse is explaining. So she is assessing na po yung veins na kailangan niyang insertan. No need to apply the tourniquet for that patient because this is a 50-year-old and well, kitang-kita na po talaga yung vein na pag-insertan niya. Apply tourniquet. So one lang po. Only po, ribbon lang po ng one para madili po ma-pull. So after that, you can explain na pwede po niyang close open para mas lumabas po yung vein. Then after, i-alcohol po niyan. Actually, pwede po yan or circular motion, then allow to dry for 30 seconds. Then after that, you can choose what catheter, IV catheter that is perfect for the vein. Ganyan, nakita po natin. Inaayos niya kasi pagka, yan, tinatry niyo po muna kung nare-retract or walang mga other defect dun po sa IV cannula po natin. So after nan, use your non-dominant hand to place and retract po nung ating isang kamay to stretch the skin po, and then at a 10 to 15 degree angle, insert the catheter gently, and then if meron na pong backflow, magkakaroon na po ng flashback ng backflow, release the tourniquet, then secure the catheter po. So we will be doing an H method ng pag-tape po. After po niyan, mag-insert lang po tayo ng syringe. Clamp lang po para hindi yung blood. Throw the needle to a container bin. Then, push lang po slowly, gently. Maktinan nyo kung merong mga bumps. And then, yan, nakita po natin yung ating backflow dyan. Then, another tape po sa kabilang side. And another tape po dito. So, wala po tayong available na transparent dressings. After that, we will connect it to the tubing po. While putting a pressure po sa ating IV para hindi po lumabas ang dugo. So, make sure lang po na walang mga air or bubbles po dyan. And secure the line, then regulate po. So sa regulations, you need to use your gloves and that's it. So after po nan, these are my references. Sorry, no. You can check this for my references po ng ating lecture. And hope that everything's learned from my IV therapy overview and skill check. So hopefully po na magawa niyo na po ang inyong IV with confidence. Practice makes perfect. So eventually naman po, pagka-hire niyo po dito sa ating hospital is matututunan niyo rin po eventually ang pag-IV. Sa dami po natin ating mga patient. So, that's all. Thank you po sa lahat na nag-join po sa atin. Kung may mga question po, share lang po. Thank you po. Maraming salamat po sa lahat na mga umattend po ngayon. Sana po may natutunan po kayo. Thank you.